Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my quarterly updates for my empties, my low buy, as well as what I have purchased over the last 3 months. But before we jump into the products, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. But let's just start by going through my empties. So I'm going to start with the boring stuff first. So let's go through skincare and hair care. The first two things I'm going to talk about is my two Empties dry shampoos. I always go through these, and if you have watched any of my empties previously, you've probably seen them already. It's my go-to dry shampoo, and yeah, I just love it. I think it works really well. I would definitely recommend this because it is probably the best one that I've tried, and it's also quite an affordable one. So yeah, those are the first two empties. I have one shampoo empty. This is the Aussie Miracle Moist shampoo. I have actually switched to sulfate-free shampoos now, so I will not repurchase this. I do really like this one though, but I kind of want to go and try to use sulfate-free and silicone-free hair care products, which is why I won't repurchase this. But if you're looking for a kind of affordable, all-around good shampoo, I would recommend this one. So that's all we have for hair care. Let's move on to some skincare empties. I have this makeup remover right here. This is the Nivea Daily Essentials Double Effect Eye Makeup Remover. This is the waterproof eye makeup remover they have, and it's really good. I have tried this before, and it's not really my go-to kind of dual waterproof eye makeup remover, but I do really like this one. But I feel like a lot of them are kind of similar. This one is really good though because it's very affordable and it definitely does the job. I am currently working on a cleansing balm though, so I'm not repurchasing this at the moment, but it's definitely something that I would potentially repurchase again in the future. Because what I do is I just kind of remove the bulk of my makeup with this, and then I go in with a second cleanse afterwards. And that works really well for me. But like I said, I am working through another kind of cleansing balm at the moment. So this will be something that I'll probably repurchase in the next couple of months or so. I have one cleansing oil right here. This is the Pre-Cleanse from Dermalogica. I really love this stuff. It's quite expensive, but I feel like it does a great job. This one keeps my skin really clear and I do love it. But I feel like you can definitely find kind of similar cleansing oils or cleansing balms for a more affordable price. So because of that, I probably won't repurchase this. But if I'm looking for just a simple all-around good oil cleanser, I will definitely pick this up again. But yeah, for now I'm kind of trying out a few other things. I have two moisturizers actually. These are both the Ultra Repair Cream from First Aid Beauty. I haven't gone through 2 full tubes in the last 3 months. I actually had one at my house and one at my boyfriend's house, but when I moved in, I kind of ended up with 2 half-full containers. So I have used both of these up. This is my go-to moisturizer for my skin. I have quite dry skin. I'm also using retinol, which makes my skin much drier. So I think this one works wonders. I'm currently trying out the Nivea is regular kind of moisturizer, the really plain one. I think it says soft on the tube. I'm trying out that one currently, but this one is probably something I will go back to in the future. It just has been a bit harder for me to pick this up with the quarantine and everything going on, and I didn't really want to order it online. So yeah, I will go back to this in the future, but for now I'm trying something else. I actually, like before, had one more hair care item that I completely forgot about. This is the Olaplex number 3 treatment. I use this all the time. I try to use this at least maybe 2 times a month, and it really works great. I do highlight my hair and I haven't had any issues with it kind of breaking off or anything. My hair is quite good with getting bleached, so it could potentially be that. But I feel like if my hair is a bit drier or a bit more, it feels a bit more damaged, if I use this, it does really help. So it is expensive, but a little goes a long way, and yeah, I do think this is worth the money. So if you do have damaged hair or if you dye your hair, I would definitely recommend you trying this one because it has definitely made an improvement on my hair. So those were all of the kind of non-makeup items that I used up in the last 3 months. Let's move on to some of the makeup that I finished. So I have one foundation right here. This is the Triple Dissolution BB Cream from Lovelies. I love this stuff. I tried both this one and the Beyond Dissolution, and I do think I prefer the Beyond Dissolution, but this one is really good as well. It is quite a nice coverage BB cream. It's not like the really sheer ones, and that's probably why I love it. But what I love doing with this is to apply it really sheerly, and yeah, it just works really well. The only thing is, obviously this only comes in one shade, which is awful, and luckily for me it works pretty well. It can look a little bit too kind of pink tone or like ashy for me, but most times it does work, and I can kind of alter it with bronzer and blush and things. So yeah, I might repurchase this in the future. I actually have bought a few foundations that I'm trying currently, which you will see in a second, so I won't repurchase this right now, but perhaps in the future. I have also finished up a concealer. This is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in shade number 15, I believe. This is a swirler from my Partners in Cream project pan, and I have used this one up. I do really love this one, but I feel like I've turned off this a bit, and I have purchased a replacement of this because this was basically the only concealer that I had that kind of suited me currently, or like when I'm paler. So I want to pick up something to replace this, and I do have that to show later, and I absolutely love that concealer. It's so good. So I probably won't repurchase this in the future because I feel like I found that concealer really works for me. So yeah, for now I will actually not repurchase this, although this has been one of the items before that I always said I will always repurchase, but for now I don't think I will. Next up we have a super exciting empty. It's my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. This one is completely done, you guys. I had this in my Roulette Pan collab, and at the finale I had a little bit left of, I think, both of these, but I finished them both up, and yeah, it is completely empty now. I really love these powders, and I might repurchase them in the future, but the shades weren't really great for me. The darkest one I used as a bronzer, and the other two I had to mix in order for them to kind of fit my skin tone. So I think what I will do in the future is I might actually purchase one of their full-size powders, but I'll make sure to find a kind of shade that works for me really well. But yeah, these powders are beautiful. Although they are expensive, I feel like they are worth the money. We also have a primer. This one is also from my Partners in Cream. I finished the Professional Matte Rescue Primer. This one wasn't really my favorite. I didn't really like it, and I feel like it made my foundation look a little bit dry in some places. So yeah, I do have the regular Professional, which I much prefer. So this one is not something that I would repurchase, but I'm really happy to have it out of my collection now. I also finished up a mascara. This is the Paradise Exotic mascara from L'Oreal. I'm currently working on another one of these. That is my last mascara backup, and then I'm probably gonna go back to the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I love that one. This one is quite similar, but this one is a bit wetter, and I do like kind of drier mascaras because my lashes are very kind of straight. So if I don't use waterproof mascara, and if I use too wet of mascara, they just fall. So although this one is really good, and it is cheaper than the Better Than Sex mascara, I think I probably want to go back to that one after finish up the second tube of this. We have two more empties to go that are pure makeup. The next one is another one that I finished from my Partners in Cream project pan. This is the Max Factor Miracle Touch Creamy Blush, and this was in the shade Soft Pink, which was just like a nice, not too cool tone pink, and I really loved wearing it. I will not repurchase it though, so I do have one more cream blush, but otherwise I really love using this lipstick as cream blushes because I don't really wear cream blushes like all year round, and I go into phases where I do really like them, and phases where I don't reach for them for months. So I feel like instead of buying more cream blushes, I'll probably just use my lipsticks as cream blushes with times when I actually want something like that. So that's probably what I'm going to do more moving forward, because this one I had in my collection for far too long, so I don't want to end up in a situation like that again in the future. So I probably won't repurchase any more cream blushes. Then next up is a super exciting empty. If you have followed my channel since the start, you know that I was working on this eyeshadow in my first ever product pan. This is the Contour Mona eyeshadow from YSL in the shade number 4. It was just like nice cool tone matte brown, and I used this mainly as a contour powder, but also as an eyeshadow, and sometimes even in my brow. And it took a really long time to finish up, but it's finally empty, and I have finished up a full, very large eyeshadow. And then lastly we have this one right here, which is the one that isn't purely a makeup item. I don't really know where to classify these, but it is one of my nail polishes from Essie, and this one is in the shade Merino Cool. I won't repurchase this because I do have too many polishes and I'm trying to work through them, but I do love this shade, so once I kind of narrow down my collection a bit more, I might repurchase this in the future. So then before we move into all the things that I bought in the last month, I'm just going to go through the things that I've decluttered as well. So I have quite a few things to show you, and Another point is that I actually decluttered quite a few single eyeshadows, but I do not have them included in this kind of empty here because I have ordered or I have a pre-order for the Cliona stained glass collection, quite a few eyeshadows from there. So what I wanted to do was kind of narrow down my single eyeshadows so that I can fit them better into my collection once they arrive. So I didn't want to count them into here because that is going to be a massive order coming in, and hopefully I won't be having to buy any new kind of C palettes for that. So I kind of thought that those would even each other out, but have included everything else that I have decluttered. But if you do want to see those single eyeshadows, I do have a video decluttering them, so you can go and check that out to see what I decluttered. But let's just go through the items that I decluttered. I have a few lipsticks. The first one is this Maybelline matte lipstick in the shade All Fired Up. It's a beautiful shade and I actually really love this, but it's almost a perfect dupe for the MAC lipstick in Relentlessly Red, which I love as well. And this one is just a bit older, as well as I prefer the formula of the MAC, so I did declutter this one due to that reason. But I do recommend this if you are on the hunt for a similar lipstick in this shade. Speaking of MAC, I actually decluttered one of my MAC lipsticks as well this quarter. This is in Chatterbox. I have had this for a really long time and I do like it, but it's kind of not my preference anymore. I know that I used to wear this all the time, but it is a bit too pink for me now, so I don't reach for it. So I'm going to declutter this and give it to my mom. I also decluttered this YSL Glossy Stain. This is in the shade 104. I don't love the formula of this, and it's not a shade that I care for, so that's why I decluttered this one. I also have actually another empty here that kind of snuck into my declutters because I thought this was a declutter because I completely forgot that I finished this. But this is one of my Chanel lipsticks in La Fasciante, I think it's called. My French isn't really that strong, but it's just a really deep kind of red color, and I completely finished this up in my Partners in Cream. So that is another product that I finished. And then lastly, for the lipstick declutters, we have this Bite mini lipstick in Gazpacho. It's just a dark red again, and I do have too many reds in my collection and I barely use this. I think I only swatched it a couple of times because I had another one of these that I got from a friend and I finished that up completely. So I just feel like I already tried this formula and I have too many reds in my collection, so I'm going to give this to a friend. Then let's move on to some of my exciting declutters. I have a few eyeshadow palettes here that I'm decluttering. The first one is this mini palette from I Heart Revolution. This one is in Choc Mint. I have two more of these and one of them is actually my Panel palette, but I just don't love this formula and actually haven't even touched these eyeshadows, so I wanted to give it away when it's completely new. So I'm probably going to give this to a friend or to my mom. We'll see who I decide to give it to, but it's completely new, so I will have to think what I want to do with this. But I just didn't feel like they were shades that I loved enough to keep, especially since I don't love the formula of these eyeshadows. I also have this eyeshadow palette right here, which is the Element of Surprise from Colourpop. This is what it looks like now, so you can see it looks a bit strange, and that is because I actually went through this one and my She palette and I kind of narrowed them down to one palette, and I decided to declutter a few of the eyeshadows. So this one is gonna go, and I will have a video up later in the month when I show you kind of going through those, so if you want to see that process as well, stay tuned for that, like I said, coming later this month. I also decluttering the Narcissist Dual Intensity eyeshadow palette. I only kept one eyeshadow in this, which is this one called Himalaya, I think. And yeah, the rest I don't really care for, so I'm going to declutter this one as well. I think it's actually something that my mom would really enjoy, so I will give it to her. But yeah, this one is leaving my collection as well. And then lastly, we have this eyeshadow palette right here, which is the NYX In Your Element Air palette. This is actually a palette that I've really loved in the past, but I didn't reach for it anymore. There was a lot of shades in here that were duplicate in my collection. So what I did is I actually kind of depotted and repressed all the shades that I liked, and the rest I decided to declutter. So this one will be leaving my collection too. It's not a full kind of palette declutter, but I just took out the shades that I wanted to keep, and I'm decluttering this palette. So those were all of the items that I used up and decluttered this last month. So I actually used up 8 makeup products and I'm decluttering 8 makeup products, so in total that's 16. And if you do remember my kind of previous rules for my low buy, I had a rule that I could only buy 1 item per 5 items that I used up, apart from things that I buy to replace. However, over the last quarter I have decided to change that up because I just feel like, for me, my collection is getting to a point where I'm quite happy with it. There are a few categories like blush, for example, that I am still kind of not happy with how many I have. So what I decided to do is I wanted to switch up my low buy, and I kind of want to just focus on not spending too much money rather than not bringing too many things in. So what I decided to do is put a spend limit on myself for £50 a month, and that's all I can spend on makeup. And in case I don't buy anything in a month, because I've gone through months before where I haven't bought anything for literally months, so if I don't buy anything, that £50 will roll over, so I can buy something more expensive the next month, and so on. But with that said, I'm going to go through all of the items that I purchased over the last 3 months. So I definitely have one category where I've gone a bit mad, and that is foundations. And I just realized, funny enough, all of these tops look very similar. I guess that's just kind of the thing that's in currently, but I'm gonna go through them in the order that I did purchase them. And the first thing I purchased was this Revolution Pro CC Perfecting Foundation in the shade F5.7. So I have actually used this quite a lot over the last couple of months, because I picked this up quite early on in the quarter, and I actually really love this foundation. It's really nice, and it's a good kind of everyday foundation. It's not my favorite, and from the things that I've tried, it's not the favorite out of these foundations either. If you're looking for something moisturizing and kind of like glowy, this is a really good foundation. I think this is actually supposed to be a dupe for the It Cosmetic CC cream, but I haven't tried that one, so I can't speak about that. But yeah, this is a nice foundation, and I have really enjoyed wearing it. Next up, I picked up these two right here, which is the EX1 Invisiwear Liquid Foundation, and I picked it up in the shade 2.0. I actually tried this before, and I just wanted to pick it up again because when I used it, I initially didn't like it, but then once I tried to use it up, I actually fell in love with this foundation. I don't know if it's because my skin changed or what happened, but I just wanted to try it again. So I picked this one up, and I haven't actually opened it yet because I'm trying a few other foundations, but it's definitely something that I will try in the future. However, this is more of my winter shade, so I probably will pick this up in a few months. Then we have the foundation that I'm actually currently wearing mixed in with another one, because this is quite light. This one is my Revolution Conceal and Define foundation in F2.5. So this one is again my winter shade, but I have been using this with a darker foundation that I'm currently trying to pan, and it's been working great, and I've actually loved this foundation so much. This is more of a full cover foundation, but I've loved kind of applying it more sheerly. And yeah, I've been trying this for like the last maybe 2 weeks, but in those 2 weeks I've absolutely fallen in love with this foundation, and that is quite affordable is also a big plus. Then we have the last foundation, which I actually only received like 3 days ago, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I have mine in the shade 3 Warm. I haven't tried this yet, and I might actually make a first impression on this because I picked up a few other Charlotte Tilbury products which I haven't tried either, and I might do a video where I try all of those out, but we'll see. But for now I haven't tried it, and again I have a few foundations to go through, so this will probably be something that I reach for a bit later. But yeah, I'm really excited to try this one. I actually picked this up because it was in a kit with another product that I really wanted to try, so let's just go on to show you that one. And that is my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I have mine in the shade 1 Light. It looks like this, and I'm so excited to try this one because I heard so many great things about it, and that's basically the main reason why I made this order. But yeah, I haven't tried it still, so I'm looking forward to doing that, but I'm currently trying to use up another powder as well. So when I made my order from Charlotte Tilbury, they actually had a promotion going, and that was if you spent £100, you got a free eyeshadow palette, which I have right here. So spoiler alert, I did spend £100. So this is the Charlotte Darling Easy Eye Palette. It's absolutely stunning, and it just seems like really high quality. Again, I haven't really tried it yet, so I can't speak of it. I did have a little sneaky swatch of the shades, and the shimmers are quite like soft, and they're not like super kind of over the top, but they're still quite intense. But the mattes though, they're so soft, like they're so kind of smooth. Like I haven't really had mattes like that before, and they're just absolutely stunning. So I'm really excited to play around with this on my eyes. I think the mattes are going to blend out beautifully, and I think they're just going to create really good everyday looks. So I did get this for free, which is really exciting, but I'm going to show you what I picked up as well in order to get this palette. So I don't think I actually mentioned, but I never tried Charlotte Tilbury before this order, and I haven't tried any of these products yet either. But one thing that I've been dying to try from her, like it was like the only product I was actually interested in for a long time, was the lipsticks. And I did pick up quite a few lipsticks. I actually picked up 4 of them, and one was a kit with a lip liner. I actually lied, I just realized, because I had tried one of the products from Charlotte Tilbury before. I actually have the lip sheet in Pillow Talk, which I got from a friend. My friend actually gave that to me, so it's half used, because she actually used it, but then she just got to a point where she realized she doesn't really use lip liners, and she gave it to me. So I have that, and I've tried it a few times, but other than that I haven't tried anything from Charlotte Tilbury. But some things, like I said, I want to try was the lipsticks, and I have 4 of them right here. I'm just going to go through them quickly, which ones I picked up. So the one that I was most excited to try is this lipstick right here, which is in Pillow Talk. This is super famous, and it looks like this. I have swatched it, but I haven't worn it, and I'm really excited to try this because I do love the shade of the lip liner, and this is supposed to be quite similar to that, and I just think it's going to be a really beautiful nude for me. Next up we have the shade So 90s, which is like this kind of brown lipstick right here. It looks a bit darker in the tube than it is when I swatched it on my hand, but I'm really excited to try this one as well. It is a bit of a darker nude, so I probably will reach for this more in the fall time. Next up we have another shade I'm very excited about. That is the shade Very Victoria. It looks like this. It is more of a kind of greyish nude. This one I believe is Meghan Markle's favorite lipstick, and I'm really excited to try it. But again, I haven't worn it on my actual lips, but I think this is also going to be quite a nice nude. Then the last lipstick I picked up, which actually came in the kit with a lip liner, is the shade Supermodel. It looks like this. It's a bit darker than Pillow Talk, but it's a similar kind of tone to Very Victoria. But again, it's a bit more kind of plummy and darker, but it's still a kind of nice mid-tone nude from what I swatched. And again, this came with the lip liner Super Size Me, which is a similar shade again. So I'm really excited to try all of those products, and that's what I picked up from Charlotte Tilbury. Then the last product that I actually picked up is this Power Play concealer from Cover FX. This is the concealer that I talked about before that I absolutely love. I have played with it a few times, but then I was trying to use up that Fit Me concealer, so I haven't used it in a little while now. But it is beautiful, and it's just so full coverage and hydrating, but it kind of dries down to a satiny matte finish, which is super good. And I do have really dry under eyes, which is why I don't really like the Fit Me concealer anymore. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older, or because I am on retinol, but this one doesn't kind of enhance my dryness at all. So I absolutely love this concealer, and if you haven't tried it, I 100% recommend it. So those were all of the makeup items that I picked up, but I actually have one more product that I got this last quarter, and that is this palette right here. This is the Amrezy eyeshadow palette from Anastasia. I have been eyeing this for a long time, but I couldn't justify buying it because I have so many eyeshadows. But I mentioned it to my boyfriend, and he was very sneaky, because as soon as I mentioned it, he actually made an order and surprised me with this palette. So it looks like this, and I have played around with it a little bit. It's so pretty, and I'm so happy to have it in my collection now. Again, I do have a lot of eyeshadows, but a lot of these are actually quite unique in my collection, and one of these shades is probably one of my absolute favorites in my collection now. The shade is called Barb, and I just have to swatch it for you guys. So there you have Barb swatched out, and I don't think the camera will actually pick up how beautiful it is. I think maybe you will see that it has like a pink base, and then it has like a kind of golden green shift, and then it also goes to a bit of a blue shift. I'm hoping that you can see all of that on camera, but it's just so pretty, and it's kind of like almost a multi-chrome, and it's just so pretty. It's the first shadow that I have like this, but like I said, I have quite a few of the Cleona shadows coming in the mail, so I'm so excited to play around with these, because just from how much I love this shade already, I'm so excited to try those. This kind of helped me a bit with the wait to get those, because the wait is about two and a half months, I think. So we'll see when they come, but I am so happy to have this palette and this shade in my collection. So this quarter is to wrap up. I didn't do great with my low buy, but like I said, I switched up the rules, and I just kind of went through those stages to get everything out of my system, so that's why I haven't kind of kept to my low buy, but in total I used up 8 makeup products and I decluttered 8, and I did bring in 13 new items, including the ones that were gifts. But that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this. I think it's gonna be a bit of a longer video, so if you're still here, please let me know down below, because to you. But I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys.